well, people who will watch racer, likely the racers who will watch later. Never mind. The game crashed. Lobby died. J-Luke joined during the formation lap and killed the game, basically. So that shouldn't even be. That's not even J-Luke's fault. It's the game's fault for being reliable.
To be fair, it is easier to blame Matt than it is Codemasters. Matt? What am I trying to say? Jamie. It's easier to blame Jamie than it is Codemasters.
Blames Matt. I'm like, wait, what? What's Matt got to do with it?
I was looking at your name in the lobby.
To be fair, I've got a name people just blame.
Yeah.
Right, I've got a Kit Kat. I'm having a break. As we refresh our batteries, are we going to have the formation lap on again? I hope not. But will that mean people's tyres will be cold? Highly likely. So I've got one video back in the stream. Yeah, the game crashed for me. It's likely it crashed for other people as well. Basically, a driver joined during the formation lap and it completely glitched the lobby, which required a restart. So, word of warning to other leagues: if you're on the formation lap, do tell the drivers to do not rejoin until the lights out. Which will be hard, I know, but it's a problem we have with the game now. They seem to bring updates and it breaks it more.
Whilst we wait for this new race to load in, I'll just quickly fill in what the viewers missed. Once, I think it was J-Luke, once he did leave the session, we had the lights went out, and then all 4 championship contenders, obviously AI driven, they all crashed out at turn 1 and 2.
Great game.
Quite exciting. Yep.
I'm thinking with the first stream we may have to call that VSL Britain qualifying and then this one the race, but I've called it stream 2 at the moment.
That's fine. I do hope that the people that do watch this back actually watch the qualifying. There was some good commentary in there between us, I'd like to say.
Oh, definitely. I'm not biased. I'm just saying it was good commentating.
Not to blow our own trumpets, of course,
no.
but
Oh, no.
this is the best commentary lineup the VSL have had all season.
Or ever.
Or ever. So.
Maybe biased. Maybe that.
And there's nobody else here to say that we're wrong.
No.
So we are the best. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah. If someone says otherwise, comment. Because no one seems to comment. So, that will get them talking. Are we still having the 2-minute waiting rule? I don't think we should.
I believe we will. The setups and what's the other thing they do? Strategy, setup and strategy.
As I mute my mic as I crunch a Kit Kat, 1 second.
Matt enjoying a original recipe Kit Kat.
They've changed the packaging. Why have they changed the packaging? And like, I'm doing what normal F1 commentators do, just go on about something completely off topic. I'm in the Kit Kat right now. Beforehand, I used to have a wrapper and then tin foil and stuff. Now it's just packaging. Take it off. There's your Kit Kat. Why did they change that?
I don't know. But I think we should talk about the extortionate rate of inflation that Freddos have gone up to.
Oh, don't even get me started with Freddo. Absolute fraud. Oh dear. I mean, fudges have always been 25p-ish, so they're still down there. A chomp.
The Curly Whirly, no less.
Curly Whirly are 30p now.
Sure.
Well, to be fair, they're quite big for what they are. Trying to think what else is there on the shelves. There's Love Hearts, they're about 40p.
Jesus.
Hey. 40p in today's money would have been like 20p 10 years ago. Am I wrong? Inflation a bit?
Not entirely sure, actually. Even 10 years ago, half of this grid, they weren't even in school.
No. as we have another formation.
Starting school.
Some of them I question if they did English. That could be very controversial. As we have a comment in the section. They're probably asking us, right, get on with it. Stop talking about Kit Kat, stop dilly-dallying. Oh gosh. So what did you do today in the commentary booth? I talked about Kit Kat. Jacko Car, I indeed agree with that. Jacko and Matt is the best commentary lineup ever. Someone says otherwise, at me.
Well, if the official Jacko Car YouTube account has said that this is the best commentary lineup VSL I've ever had,
then it's just true.
Then it has to be true.
It is true. As I just retweet the stream to get people back into it. At the VSL PS4.
Rundown of the 14 drivers again. Just to update everybody, we've got Brendan on pole. Of course, he took pole for just a couple hundredths away from Mata, who I believe is today's race winner. Speed Knighton with great run up in P3. Kyle, championship leader in 4th. Ahmed, the outstanding achievement of qualifying up in P5. That's a cracking lap he put in. Iceman in 6th. Risky 7th. Didn't do as well as we would have hoped. Of course, he invalidated in the end. Yori's had a good qualifying up in P8. And Kev Rusky, the last driver, within a second of the leader. Black Sea starting on the mediums. And then you've got Matt Ryan, Speed Newgarden, Waze, and J-Luke, who hopefully this time doesn't break the lobby. And has also changed cars. He's now in the AlphaTauri, so is teammates with Waze for the next 26 laps.
That could be really good or really bad. There's no real in between with that one. As the Williams has overtaken Brandon, as it's telling me the predicted race strategy, which it's just not true, is that? False information, fake news. Excuse me as I've got hiccups. But never mind. So, Jack, you think it's going to be Matt Nuttall in the race?
100%.
I think it's going to be Brandon. But, watch this. Our two predicted race winners will end up ploughing into each other.
You see, I hope that doesn't happen, because it means Kyle will win otherwise. But anyway, this is your time to shine, Matt. Will we get 5 lights? We will.
We do. 4. And the 5 amazing red lights. Lights out and away we go. Brandon's off to an okay start. Really, to be fair, I want to have had a quite even start, but Speed Knighton looking round the outside. Just get squeezed out there, so it's still the remaining leaders of Brandon and Mata coming out. Then going into turn 3. Risky's already got a 3-second time penalty. Do we have any spins behind? No, we're not, so it's still leading. From sector 1 is Brandon, then it's Mata in the McLaren, who's Mata in the Williams, who's got the McLaren on his chuff. But I think Matt's using a bit of ERS to defend from the McLaren behind as he retains P2 with the Haas of Brandon raking off into this, and now we've got a second gap in front as the Williams.
Yeah, it was, sorry to interrupt there, Matt, it was Risky who got loose out of turn 1 and cut the entirety of turn 2. That's where his 3-second penalty come from.
But I guess, like, even in real life, if you go on that section of track, you're taking evasive action, so maybe the stewards may, after the race, take that off, because to go wide, you don't want to really rejoin the track dangerously, so he did right there to really cut the corner. As
he's coming under threat from Kyle now, he goes up the inside, but Risky's going to try and cling on around the outside. They almost make contact. They come into this final complex of corners. Risky still with the inside, but it will turn to Kyle's favour as he holds it nicely and just about gets that move done. Kyle back where he started.
So it's a neat move there. It's again, as we pointed out in the previous stream on qualifying, that Kyle doesn't have the best of starts, and it was proven there, as apparently he is in P6. That's not right.
Ahmed is in the gravel on the exit of turn 2.
So it's likely, has he had contact with the AlphaTauri of Waze? Let's have a look with the race director. Has there been any contact in the notes?
Front left wing damage, just to point out to you.
Swayze has now got a 3-second time penalty. It's thankful Waze for just turning up. And has he gone to the gravel? Maybe clip the gravel on the exit there, possibly out of Woodcut.
Risky's off as well, Matt.
Oh, is everyone struggling with the rear ends? I must admit, when I was practicing, the rear ends on these cars around here were very, very snappy. So I think the drivers are sort of like struggling with the rear ends here. And because there's a lot of medium speed corners here.
Hayes is off now. Sorry, Matt.
Who's off, sorry?
Waze, down in P13.
And he's off again, and he's into the wall. Is that a retiree?
No, just the front way.
He's still on track. Surprised there's no virtual safety car for a yellow flag. Wouldn't surprise me if he retires the car, really, to be honest with you. But safety car.
5 spinners from 4 drivers in that lap there.
Oh.
Brendan gets a drive-through penalty, and that he cannot take until after the safety car period.
I didn't get an indication that the safety car was out.
Neither did I, but the safety car is just in turn between 4 and 5.
Right, now I've got the indication that the safety car is out, but that is Brandon's race. Completely ruined there. But,
yeah.
dearie me, so he has to take the drive-through penalty once the safety car lights are out, because ideally he really wants to get a free bit of track, but thinks that's a drive-through penalty. He cannot go to the pits. He has to drive through the pits on one of the longest pit lanes on the calendar. And Brandon...
Yeah. We were saying this in qualifying, it's probably the longest pit lane. Well, look what it's done to these 3 at the back, Risky, Waze and Ahmed, all on the hard, so they've been given a free pit stop. What will the soft runners do in that? Is it too early to go on to the hard?
No, I think they'll go into the hard tire towards the end.
Okay.
As Brandon obliterates.
Oh, yeah, his race is over. He should be able to serve that penalty. I think he'll
have a bit of fun. I don't think he can serve the penalty now, can he? He'll have to go into the pit lane.
He can serve for 5 seconds, I'm pretty sure. Let's see.
No.
So it'll be added on at the end of the race or his next pit stop. It does go on to hards.
He's had no choice, as the Red Bull looks like it's smoking on my screen. No,
which one, sorry?
It's not our Speed Y Racer, but I don't know if that's just the heat haze coming from one of the TV cameras.
Yeah, I would say so. That's just the exhaust fumes, isn't it? Flexi and New Garden, P6, P7, the medium runners.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what Kyle does here, because predicted stop for the soft tyres is around lap 10 or 11, but to go for the hard tyre around lap 6, I'm pretty sure the hard tyre will do 20 laps around here. Because he has to think about his championship rival Flexi, who Flexi will likely go on the medium tyres to around lap number 17, 18, and then go into pit for the soft tyres and be quick towards the end of the race when the fuel's depleted from the cars. Because the fuel's depleted, the tyres will last longer. So if Flexi can keep within the pack on those medium tyres, he's during the race so far, but looking at the laps, we're only on lap 4 out of 26. There's still a bit of the race to go. 13 drivers left in the race, I must say, as Waze, I believe, lost connection to the server, the lobby.
Saying, yeah, his PS4 is overheating once again.
Yeah, as Waze.
That would be all the pornography that he's got on there. It's a true story.
I'm not saying it's wrong. You're probably stating facts.
I am. Thank you.
Basically, if there's any kids watching, it's basically how you were born. Let's just keep it at that. Yeah. Let's keep it
Matt Ryan
PG.
hits. Back on topic.
In the Ferrari, it's not spinning, so not realistic.
J. Luke's going to put some mediums on and serve a 5-second penalty. That's clever. Get it out of the way with.
Oh, hang on about. So why didn't the Haas of Brandon not serve it when he went into the pits earlier? As the Haas has actually spun it under the safety car. Brandon spun it under the safety car. The cold tyres.
Risky's off as well. Both of them.
Fresh hard tyres, I think they're a bit cold coming out of the box. This is what, yeah, it's like when I sent a tweet to Formula 1, it was a practice session earlier on this year. I got a mention by Crofty himself. I suggested, why don't we challenge the drivers more by removing tyre blankets? Because the drivers will have to work the tyres more, and it will make pit stops a bit more interesting.
Yep.
You know,
is that not a regulation coming into play next year or year after?
I think it's something to do with the fact that the tyre blankets can go on the car, but it can only be on it after a certain interval or something. Like there's a time limit on how long you can have the blankets for, maybe? I don't know if we're just making it long as we go along, but me personally, sort of get rid of tyre blankets, but like having time limit on how long they can have the tyre blankets on for. Like if they're coming for a pit stop, they have to take them off like a minute or something before the car comes in.
So let me put a scenario to you. Bono tells Lewis to box this lap, and then everyone thinks Lewis is coming in, but he stays out and does another lap. Lewis Hamilton's tyres then go cold because he's done an extra lap. So what do the pit crew do? Do they put the tyres back on and then time it to take them off at the right time?
They'll have to.
It's going to be very hard to police, isn't it, as J-Luke makes another pit stop.
Sort of interesting really, but they need to do something to make Formula 1 interesting for the new generation, because with Honda pulling out because they want to go more carbon neutral, yet they retain their IndyCar program. That makes sense, but it's a shame to see Honda go. However, looking at news articles, I remember seeing some I think Porsche was one of the manufacturers that had an interest in supplying in Formula 1. If I recall, I believe NH just lost the front wing going into the back of Matt Ryan during the safety car.
No, he hasn't. He was very close to Matt Ryan though.
But
the build is actually very close. There's no need to be like this.
But going back to
anyway.
Engine saga, if I recall, before Marussia went with Ferrari engines, Cosworth actually made a hybrid 2014 engine, but Marussia decided to go with the Ferrari power unit. Wouldn't it be great? Yes, okay, Cosworth were not a very competitive engine, but it's a British-based engine manufacturer. And Cosworth, as you know, you hear the word Cosworth, you think of the Ford Cosworth Escort. It's not a bad name, and it'll get the name out into Formula 1 again. You know, new engine. They risked it with Honda, why not risk it with, like, I don't know. Yeah, it may sound dumb, but Cosworth.
It's viable. There have been rumours, I'm not sure how true they are, so don't quote me. Rumours that Aston Martin could make their own engine, possibly for 2022.
Yeah, I know, but like,
Or they'll continue to be with Mercedes from next season.
However, in the production Aston Martin cars on the road, they use Mercedes engines. They use the computers from Mercedes. So I don't understand why Aston Martin would want to make their own engines when most of their parts come from Mercedes.
It'd be, oh Jesus, Matt Ryan. It'd be better for the brand if they were making their own engines and putting them in their own cars.
As we go back to the racing now from real life Formula 1, as the matter prepares for the track to go green. Once again, the safety car is in the pits and all eyes are now on Matt, as he's now floored the throttle now. Great restart there, Matt. To be fair, Knighton was caught napping a bit behind there, should have been a bit more alert. This matters already 8 tenths down the field, but the Haas driver of Kyle's even further back. A couple of drivers napping here, so I don't think any of the drivers were expecting Matt to go when he did. Maybe expecting him to go a bit later on.
Perfect restart from Matt, actually. Something he needs as he tries to close down this championship lead. Kyle up in third, though, doing enough to retain the title.
Sam is up into P6. Sam being Flexi, of course, in the Sol Alfa Romeo. His teammate was J Luke last week, but he's in the AlphaTauri at the moment. I said that right, not Toro Rosso. As Brandon, who was winning the race, leading the race, I must say, down in P9, so he's got a lot of work to do, but he also doesn't want to take too much life out of those hard compound tyres, as a lot of energy goes through the left hand side of that car, as it's proven in real Formula 1 where they were getting punctures.
Yeah, and he still has to make that drive through as well.
So ideally, if I was him, I'd sort of take it now, get some track space as he goes a bit wide, the dirty air from the Red Bull in front and the lack of mechanical drip from the hard tyres.
Risky to the inside, look.
That's a Mercedes from Risky, yeah. Opportunity to move. Haas driver makes a mistake. Makes the move as the Haas driver goes to serve his drive-through penalty. Which is a shame, really, but to be honest, I didn't know there was a safety car. Maybe he didn't know either. Never mind, so we go back to the lead of the race with, believe it or not, a Williams leading the race with a McLaren in P2. It's like the old days. Williams and McLaren in the 1990s.
But, maybe even 2003. I think you could push that. Raikkonen versus Ralf Schumacher. Matta's gap, his lead, has actually come down, so Pete is closing this.
I'm sort of looking at the conditions of the tyres. I don't think those two pit. I'm not 100% sure. No, they did not. Yeah,
These are the starts. These are tyres from the start of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, I mean, as we look at the best gainers at the moment, Speed Newgarden has gained 5 positions. As Brandon is the biggest loser out of this, he's lost 13 positions and is in last place, which he won't be there at the end of the race, I must say. So let's have a look at how much ERS people are deploying with Matter. I must admit, I've always been looking at Matter. He is really good at storing ERS.
Yeah.
Looking at the ERS deployment at the moment, he's got 75% to Knighton's 50%. And you've got Kyle on 44%. So Matter is preparing for a DRS change.
Risky has a disqualification. Sorry, once again, Matt. He ignored a drive-through penalty that he was given. There's the confirmation. Risky's disqualified from the session.
Did he even get the notification?
I don't know. But there's not a lot he can do at this point. That's the game, ruling him out of the rest of the race.
Jello gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But all eyes are on now the battle for the lead. Knighton and Kyle lurking in the mirrors of Knighton and McLaren, and there's actually the other Williams of Iceman in P4, not far behind at all.
Iceman having a great run so far.
Don't say that, Touchwood. I don't want him to spin, because last time he was in a good position and I said he was having a good race, he bottled it.
He won't stay. I guarantee it.
Mr. Williams tries to break the DRS, the slipstream. Still retains the lead at the moment. But he seems to be having a lot more ERS than the McLaren behind. So if the McLaren wants to get past the Williams, he needs to time his use of the ERS a bit more. Yeah, I know that sounds really simple, but this is one of my weaknesses in the game, is saving ERS. But Matter, I don't know how, but he is really good with ERS. Just look at his deployment. 77% to Knighton's 50.
On the flip side, he could just be forgetting to use it. Very good defensive driver, very clever. Pete likewise, clever driver. maybe not quite as composed as Matter is. He's going to have a little peek up the inside. These two getting very close.
Indeed.
But we have a very good battle on our hands here if they just keep it clean. Kyle lurking in the background.
We've got Jay Luke in P7 who's done 3 stops. So interesting strategy from Jay Luke. So the top 6 drivers are yet to pit so far in the race. So we ride on board with Kyle at the moment, who's quite close to Knighton now, but doesn't have...
Just dropped off the back of Matter through the Maggots and Becketts.
However,
Kyle might have a sneak down the inside. No, he won't.
He's used a bit too much ERS there, so now Kyle's have to save up his battery now. He goes into the pits, responding to Matter. So who will be the winner of the battle of the pit stops? With the 2 cars being at the end of the pit lane, the chances of them being held up by another car is highly unlikely unless the Haas can get a rocket of a pit stop. But Williams are known to have really quick pit stops.
And also have the advantage of having that pit box at the end of the pit lane.
Indeed, both on the medium compound of tyres. Where will this put them out on track, as Flexi, yet to pit, comes in P10. Brandon in the sister Haas still remains behind. So this puts Brandon back in touching distance. However, it'll be a bit more harder work with him with the cars in front on a softer compound of tyre than him. But I think Brandon will just be happy with a podium at this point now.
I think he'd take a top 5, to be honest. Anything, damage limitation. But what I was going to say to you, Matt, is those 2 who pitted, who've forgotten already who they were, Matt and Kyle, I think it's going to hurt Iceman more than anything. As he appears to have dropped back from Pete, and of course was relying on that DRS to keep him up with the top 3. They'll both pit this lap, him and Pete.
What you have to think about now...
Go on.
What you have to think about now is the other Haas of Brandon, because he's already pitted and he wasn't that far away from Matter and Kyle. It's going to be really important now to where this puts Speed Knighton and Iceman, to be honest with you.
I personally think Pete is going to come out ahead of Brandon, but Iceman is going to be stuck behind him. I think it's going to be there or thereabouts. We'll see in a few seconds. Both of them make their stops. I think Iceman had the better stop than Pete. But he's going to be very close to Brandon on the exit of 2.
So the McLaren comes out ahead of the Haas. Does the Williams come out in front of the Haas? Only just a lap later. That Williams would have been behind the Haas driver.
100%. Like I say, Iceman definitely had the better stop over Pete. And I think that's what saved him there, so he can get on with his race now, try and hunt down Pete, try and get a podium out of it.
Not really much danger.
He might try and have a look at Iceman. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. I was looking at his steering wheel and looking at the cylinder read that's on my screen at the moment. He has 20% ERS to Iceman's 70%. Oh, okay. So Iceman has got a lot of ERS to play with. As we'll go back to the provisional top 3 at the moment, Matter, Kyle and Speed Knighton, all in close proximity of each other.
There's one for the bingo cards as well. Kyle picks up a 3-second penalty. How rare is that? It just doesn't happen. Kev Rusky, by the way, stays out for another lap on his original soft tyres.
Interesting.
12 laps old now.
As we look at Kyle, going to look around the outside of the Williams. Still side by side. As the game flicks to the wrong camera, it's still side by side, going into the last couple of corners. As the Haas got it, no, the Williams sticks his nose out in front as he retains the provisional race lead at the moment, but they need to keep an eye on that McLaren behind. This is not an overtaking opportunity. That was a bit of a slam of the door shut there, but that's not an overtaking opportunity. But look at the speed loss through turn 1. This is beautiful handiwork for the McLaren behind. So we're going side by side as Kyle goes round the outside, gets the inside line, and that is up into provisional P1.
Max is going to get the DRS though on the Wellington straight here.
No, he does not. Kyle gets the DRS. However,
what I must will save him.
But what I must fret, the Williams behind has got more ERS to play with, so Kyle needs to make a gap to break the DRS from that Williams, because the Williams has got loads of ERS to play with.
And also to break that 3-second penalty that he's carrying.
I know I keep mentioning the ERS. Kyle has got 5% ERS remaining to Matta's 41%. And the McLaren has 40% as well. The Haas could be a sitting duck down the straight, you know. Because he's only got 5%. As we go back to
make a move on the outside of Mata. Both with DRS this time.
The Williams keeps the inside line. I wonder if the Williams has got damage, because ever since he's put these medium compound tyres on, he has been struggling. Bit of the squeeze there. Oh, Mata. I think Mata's getting a bit frustrated. The lack of speed that's in that Williams at the moment.
Yeah, Pete lucky not to come away with a penalty from that. He's already on the 3 warnings. Mata with no warnings, and Iceman behind these two has a 3-second penalty, just like the leader Kyle, or the net leader Kyle.
Speed 19's looking to make a move here. He's deployed his ERS really early here. Mata's deployed his ERS a bit too late as the McLaren looks to go around the outside, but Mata covers the inside line. Will Speed 19 do the switch back? No, he does not. He cannot get the power down. Actually, he gets a really good exit. It's going side by side into Cops. This is not allowed. Come on, chaps. Back it out, back it out. Oh my goodness me. It's almost side by side through Cops. Knighton had to back out of that. 6% ERS remaining, and they've been battling so hard. Kyle has now got almost a 3-second gap he needs in front as Kyle looks to overtake Waits.
And something we've not picked up on, Matt, J-Luke, who's made 3 stops and had a penalty, is actually the race leader.
And what?
Matt Ryan is net second.
That safety car has really messed up with the race.
It has indeed.
Because they've been that focused on each other, battling. The lead cars now are actually there outright. Apart from Newgarden, who has to pit, as well as Flexi. Yes. Now that's not good for Flexi.
This great battle that Matta and Pete are giving us, they're only fighting for 5th.
Unbelievable. And there's me doing the crofty, giving us false information, thinking that's the net race win.
Don't worry, we both missed it. We both missed it.
Incredible.
Bad play to J-Luke though. I don't know if those tyres will go all the way. How old are the tyres? Just the 8 laps. So it'll be tight, but he might just be able to get it to work. He certainly won't finish with a 19-second lead over Kyle. Who I'm looking at as your potential second place man. Matt Ryan's on the hards, not as fast as the guys you've been commentating on, and Ahmed as well on 11 lap old hards, so they will fade away. Kyle could well be in this for the win still. Indeed.
As McLaren starts getting on the Williams in front, just a bit too far, and I was about to say Toro Rosso, the AlphaTauri of Ways, as a massive dive from Newgarden, a bit of contact, argy-bargy. But Mata keeps that Williams in front, frustrating Knighton. You could tell he's getting frustrated because he's going for rash moves now, is Knighton, and Mata sort of needs to be careful as well. As Newgarden goes into the pits, goes down to P11. But now to frustrate Knighton even more, got that AlphaTauri of Ways in P6, and Yuri is indeed out of the race. That looks like it's a safety car. J-Luke could actually pit for a fresh set of medium tyres.
He needs to.
He has a 12-second gap in front.
Matt Ryan as well may just benefit from this. Ahmed's still trying to race him. I think the Delta might be holding these two up.
NA
but J-Luke, he could
actually get the lead here, you know.
Who's that, sorry?
This has helped Flexi out massively, I must say.
Yes.
So, I bet you're glad you didn't go on FIFA now, buddy.
Kyle will still at least be second, I reckon, with the pit stoppers.
I
J-Luke
don't
pits,
know.
Matt Ryan pits, Ahmed pits.
You know what the delta's like on this Formula 1 game.
Yeah, Flexi has to pit.
This would have saved
Kyle
Waze's race as well. Would Waze enter the pits? You have to bear in mind, on the first lap, he spun.
Oh, Pete and Matt!
Is that an illegal overtake?
No, Pete overtook Matt and Waze going into the pits. And he got it slowed down.
And that's not an illegal overtake.
No, that was, well, nothing on my screen.
Oh, brilliant. Let's just hope the pit stop doesn't screw him over here. Oh, big brain things. Of course, Williams was in the pit. The Iceman was in the pits, and Matt has lost out big time. That was a slow pit stop. Oh my dear me, he's behind the Toro Rosso. Oh my goodness me, the AlphaTauri over it. Where's
Matt, I'll tell you who this has worked out incredibly for. Newgarden, not necessarily one of the faster guys, has come out P4. And Matt Ryan, he's P5. This is a proper topsy-turvy race. Kyle does take over the lead, and J-Luke is second. That's not a bad start from the back of the grid. I did say watch out for him.
Soft compound tyres on the drivers behind Kyle. J-Luke, on his day, is a fast driver on the soft compounder tyre. The Williams have Iceman on the medium compound of tyre, unless you use too many soft compound tyres in qualifying. However, that's his only stop of the race. Or has Iceman not pitted during the safety car? But
he has not pitted, but he is on the medium.
So why was the pit stop for Mata so slow? Was it just because of the sheer amount of traffic that came into the pit lane?
Yeah, I think so. J-Luke, by the way, his current strategy is soft, hard, medium, medium, soft. 4 stops, but he has had the 2 5-second penalties, which he's got rid of by stopping twice under the initial safety car. He's actually now, with no penalties at all under his name, in a race-winning position. Because Kyle has the 3 seconds that we know of, Iceman does, Newgarden has a penalty, and Matt Ryan has no penalty, so Matt Ryan could be looking at P2 here.
He just needs to keep within the gearbox so the cars in front. Everyone at 100% capacity right now of ERS deployment. Matter, though, your predicted race winner down in P10, my predicted race winner in P11. However, Matter, actually I was about to say, however, they're on different compounder tyres. No, they're not. However, Brandon has been a quick driver before he got those penalties, so Matter will have his mirrors full here, I think, unless he does not clear the gap, the filling in the sandwich, which is Waze, with that battle of Knighton, because that was a long scrap. But because of all that scrap, Flexi has gotten in front into P7. Yes, okay, there was a safety car, but if they were not battling so much, I reckon Flexi would not be in that position. But Flexi's just kept out of trouble, kept it on the track, and he's gotten himself into P7 on the soft compound of tyre.
Yeah, for sure, Flexi would be looking at probably around P10 without the safety car. But I'll tell you what, Matt, Kyle is going to have his hands full keeping J-Luke behind him on this restart.
He's going to have to make that ass have the biggest ass on track right now.
I'm not reacting to that.
React. Love me. Please.
No, I can't. That's
okay.
So
yeah. Bit of a catastrophe, that joke, wasn't it? But never mind. As we've got the AlphaTauri ready on the soft compound of tyre behind, but the Williams, interestingly gone with a medium compound of tyre. Is the safety car in this lap? The safety car lights are out. 8 laps to go round Silverstone. As
despite how topsy-turvy this race is, Kyle will extend his championship lead if it finishes anything like it currently lines up as. Kyle, J-Luke, Iceman, Newgarden, Matt Ryan are your top 5 as we look at a second restart.
Points as they stand before the race started Kyle on 166 points to Flex's 163. Mata had a chance of gaining, but down in P10 he will not be gaining so 144 points. Brandon on the 133 points, so he's still in contention. The top four still in contention with the championship, but Kyle in this current position, if he stays within the top position or top three, his championship will gain. As we return racing once again at Silverstone, as Mata has overtaken Waze already, but look at that massive gap in front of the McLaren Speed 19. We've got Flexi and Matt Ryan battling side by side. Bit of contact with the driver, the Alfa Romeo driver.
Matt Ryan's going to get mugged down this back straight. Flexi and Pete looking lively. Flexi down the inside.
Oh, there's contact. Knighton has lost his sense of braking. He's in the wall, and that's Knighton's race over and done with. He's gotten too eager on the brakes. I think he got distracted with this battling side by side, and that is him out of the race. And we have 11 drivers remaining in the race. No yellow flags as far as I'm aware.
Back to the leaders though, Matt. These two, well, not even these two, J. Luke, he is just so... he's not even full throttle, put it that way. He's got so much extra grip, he's not going to punish the tyres until he needs to get past Kyle. No rush. He's in the faster position. He can do what he wants. And they have a gap now to Iceman.
Indeed. Sorry, I had a little technical glitch. I was riding on board with Kyle, but every time I went to look behind on Kyle's point of view, it switched me to the rear view of J. Luke, and when I stopped on the rear view, it switched me back to Kyle, so that was a weird little bug. There on the game's behalf. 6 laps to go around Silverstone. Kyle remains in P1. Luke needs to get past the Haas as soon as possible to take advantage of the soft compound tyres, because I think on the last 2 laps of this race the medium tyres will start to come into their own. So if Luke wants this win, he needs to clear the Haas in front now. The 4 stopping AlphaTauri lurking in the mirrors of the Haas driver in front. Any battles on track so far, Jack? Or is it just remaining with the leaders?
I'm stick with the leaders at the moment. Still, J. Luke just preserving his ERS, just half throttle. He doesn't, as I say, he doesn't need to do anything special.
Indeed. Looking at the intervals now, there's a bit of a close gap between Newgarden and N8. So keep an eye on that battle between the Red Bull and the Renault. Waze and Kevin Rusky are close on track. Battle for the points there in P10 and 11.
Ahmed holding his own up in P5, as you say. Might even get past Newgarden here. Being a DRS zone.
Indeed.
A little bit loose through turn 1. Yeah. Holds it.
It's currently riding the bottom. Matt Ryan, as Mata goes for a deep dive down the inside at turn 3 into turn 4. A bit of contact side by side. Mata's really got his elbows out this race. And that's Mata up into P7, and he has DRS. But now, Matt Ryan also has the Haas of Brandon going down the inside, and Matt Ryan's gone from P7 down into P9 in a matter of 4 corners. Disappointed with Matt Ryan, really, because he was on the fresh soft compounder tyre, was in a good position. And that's him down into P9, but as we look at the battle of the lead side by side through Cops. Sorry, I just missed that. Still going side by side into Maggots and Beckett, and J. Luke has now got the lead on lap 21. I only got the end of that, but that looked like a great move by J. Luke. J. Luke. And Kyle's got nothing to defend with, no ERS. He's only got DRS. Now it's all about damage limitation now. He's thinking of the championship, make sure he's finishing ahead of his other championship rivals. So far. Flixie down in P6. Mata and Brandon 7th and 8th. 4 laps to go.
I'll tell you what, Matt, Flexie's in a great position here. 3 drivers in front all have a 3-second penalty.
And N8 has lost the rear end. Almost going to the barrier, but he saved that. Great save there from the Renault driver. I don't know how on earth he kept that out
Flexi.
of the drive. That was Flexi up into P5. I think Flexi actually had to hit the brakes to avoid that a bit, so he might have lost a bit of time there.
Yeah, he seems to have dropped back a little bit off of Newgarden. But he is the faster driver than the two in front, so I think Flexi could be looking at a podium.
Yeah, suddenly got at least a life in that Alfa Romeo, which is something that's not to be said in real life F1 as Waze is now out of the points in P11.
For a man 45 minutes ago wanting to be back on FIFA after poor qualifying, I think he'll take this and he won't lose too much in terms of points to his championship rival Kyle. I mean, what will it be? 3 points? So only be a 6-point gap if he can get up to P3.
Indeed. Riding aboard with the AlphaTauri of Waze, that AlphaTauri looks awful to drive. And, like, it's not like he's doing that wrong, it just looks like there's a lot of understeer in that car. So has he got damage? Trying to look. Can't see any damage.
We were joking with the game that Waze lost his hands during qualifying. He's got his hands back, but I don't know if they're connected to his arms. Like you say, looks awful. Sorry, it looks awful to drive that AlphaTauri.
You thought my hash joke was bad, alright. Okay. Okay.
Lots of rain on the main pit straight, by the way.
Rain on the mid straight?
Riding on board with Waze there.
Interesting.
From one AlphaTauri at the back to the one at the front, J-Luke hasn't got much of a gap, only half a second to Kyle. So he's not pulling away like you would have thought.
Are those soft compound tyres starting to feel the strain? As Kyle tries to use ERS to stay within the DRS. Both drivers in the lead don't have a lot of ERS to play with. That's...
No, J-Luke normally quite good at preserving it.
Starting to feel the pressure a bit as he loses the rear end a bit. Coming out of Chapel.
Even if Kyle does get this, he's still got to find a 3-second gap, so he needs a mistake from J-Luke more than anything. They've dropped Iceman, both of them. They're under pressure from Newgarden and Flexi. Flexi in that box seat with the penalties to be added.
I'll tell you what though,
back to P6.
I'll tell you what though, Alfa Romeo is not out the question. He's right on the gearbox of Newgarden. To be fair to Newgarden, P4 stays like this would be a great position for him.
Fantastic drive today as Newgarden.
Let's have a thing for this circuit. So J-Luke from the back of the grid is leading the race. Would you believe it? Is that looking at now as Flexi looks to go down the inside of the Red Bull? Red Bull's still got his nose there. Round the outside, Flexi, and that's Flexi up into P4 now as he hunts down the Iceman. That's not Raikkonen, it's just the name of Iceman as he cuts the corner there. Unusual warning there, Flexi. Newgarden looks down the inside. Ooh, a bit of overspeed there. I think he used a bit too much ERS there.
Now Newgarden's going to be well within the DRS. But so far,
as Flexi loses the rear end. Oh, dearie me. Dirty air. It's gone in the way as Flexi is retired from the session. Now, why has he done that? He could have still got within the points. I don't think Waze will care. That's him up into P10.
Yep.
So he has.
The point. That's a good day's work. Look how dark it is in this final complex of corners, Matt. I think the rain is coming.
Dearie me. But can we just look at the battle for the lead now? 2 tenths separating the leaders here right now. But I think you have to bear in mind, Kyle has a 3-second time penalty. So this is just all to take it on the chin now as J-Luke goes a bit wide. Kyle has a bit more ERS to play with here, you know.
J-Luke is the master of the last lap pass for the lead. Will he be outdone by one of his main rivals across at least 3 leagues? That's Kyle. It's a shame he's got that penalty, because that's really affecting the climax of this race.
But the thing is though, you can't take game penalties for granted as they could be removed in the steward's room. You still want to battle it out on track. You don't want penalties to overtake what you've done on track as Matter is up into P4 side by side through Cops. Still going side by side through into Maggots and Beckett's as the game. Could it give me a better camera angle? No, it doesn't. But that doesn't matter, as Matter is now up into 4th place. That was not a punt, I did not mean to do that. Ignore that.
What's the matter with your jokes today?
Get out. Right, as we go on to the final lap then, it's still Jay looking to lead, 2 Kyles in 2nd place. And currently, who has the fastest lap? It's Brandon, who's getting that extra point so far, who's down in P6, so he will get the points for fastest lap if it stays like this. J-Luke though, right on the gearbox as he goes a bit wide, but also gets the power down nice and early, the soft compound tyres. Still working for him there, it's Newgarden and Brandon battling side by side. That's Brandon going round the outside and he gets the DRS, indeed he does, and he's got the ERS to defend. Brandon up into P5, damage limitation for Matter and Brandon.
Oh, Kyle! He's almost lost it on the exit. J-Luke escaped from that. That will be the race win right there. As Matter closes the gap to Iceman.
Well,
I don't know if you put it on stream, but Kyle was sideways.
I did not get that on stream, unfortunately, as I was looking at the battle between Brandon and Newgarden, but the Williams are battling here, and I think Iceman's gonna defend for all his max. I think he just wants to finish ahead of his teammate, and he wants the podium, but he's out.
Penalties though, so this is for position.
Iceman is out of ERS. Look at the blinking LED light on the back of Iceman's car. He's low on ERS.
J-Luke will win at Silverstone from the back of the grid. Kyle is P2. Matt's a great recovery drive after that awful pit stop in the second safety car, P3. Brendan, tell you what, he had a bad day, but he's recovered it well. P4. Iceman comes home P5 as a good drive in the end. Kev with a fantastic P6, previous race winner in Spain, and I've lost the rest of the timings. Of course.
No, it's like you say, great win for J-Luke. I apologise, I did not catch him going across the lane, and of course driver of the day J-Luke, there's no question, back of the grid, finishing P1. As we look at him going onto the podium, a look at them moves, absolutely beautiful stuff. As he takes the winner's trophy in Silverstone. That's your race, VSL Silverstone done then. Great drive from the reserve driver J-Luke. Kyle P2, he's done alright there, to be fair. The only drivers I think to do a one stop, I think.
Iceman and Newgarden also in the top 10, they did one stops. J-Luke with 4 stops wins the race. All 4 of those stops and a safety car as well.
So he sort of took advantage of that, used all the compounded tyres possible. But J-Luke's your race winner down. I apologise I didn't catch him on camera crossing the line as I was looking at the battles further down the grid. And so that's J-Luke, who is the winner, English, not United Kingdom. Kyle in P2 and Matter in P3. Great recovery drive from him there. Brandon, P4, after getting many penalties. Iceman, P5, Rusky in 6th. Newgarden, Matt Ryan, N8, and Waze round off the top 10. So, I've enjoyed commentating this race. It was actually a really good race, to be honest with you. 14 drivers, not the most attended race, but it didn't disappoint. But we got the next race round, which is around Hungary, which is known not to be. It's like the Monaco circuit. It's not a street circuit, but it's known to be the Monaco of circuits. That are not a street circuit.
Without the walls, yeah. So that'll be an exciting one.
So on indeed.
Next week.
So hopefully you join me next week. Don't know if Jacko will be in the commentary booth with me, but we'll have to wait and see. But until then, that's me and Jacko signing off. Toodaloos.